You break through your shell, blinking at the world for the very first time. Your mom laid the egg and left. You never met her, and honestly, you're not going to. Dodo parenting is entirely non-existent. From minute one, it's all up to you. You flop onto the ground and give standing a shot. Your stubby little legs are about as cooperative as two bent sticks, and after a couple of faceplants, you manage to wobble forward. You flap your fat, useless wings just to keep your balance. It's awkward, but it works. Take a look at this skeleton. With a heavy, low-slung pelvic structure and disproportionately stubby wing bones, this bird is structurally incapable of rapid movement or flight. In a predatory environment, this design would be a terminal flaw. On Mauritius, however, these traits are highly efficient. Without a single natural predator hunting them, dodos didn't need to waste metabolic energy growing large flight muscles or thick bones. They were perfectly optimized for an island that demanded absolutely nothing in the way of defense. Your daily routine is remarkably simple: walk, eat, repeat. The forest floor is packed with food. Berries, seeds, and roots are everywhere, and you quickly develop a very keen eye for spotting the best, ripest options right at your feet. This diagram shows a unique biological workaround inside the bird's stomach. Because dodos lack teeth for chewing, they swallow small rocks, called gastroliths. These stones sit inside their digestive tract, acting like a mill to mechanically smash up the tough plant matter they forage. Every so often, you run into other dodos. You might sniff each other, stand there staring blankly, and then just walk off. There is no complex teamwork, no flocking for protection, and no defensive grouping. Life is a closed loop of peaceful consumption. Because food is universally accessible and the environment is entirely stable, the dodo exists in a state of perpetual safety, where the concept of a threat has no biological context. The first sign of trouble doesn't come from the forest, but from the water. Strange, boxy wooden ships suddenly appear on the horizon, bobbing just off the coast of Mauritius. Weird, loud creatures start unloading onto the shore. They stomp around, chop down trees, and set up strange piles of sticks that burst into flames. It is a sudden, noisy disruption to an ecosystem that has been quiet for thousands of years. When one of these new arrivals approaches you, you just stand there. Nothing has ever tried to hurt you before, so you blink and wait. The human simply reaches out and grabs you, lifting you into the air like a sack of fruit. For millennia, lacking a fear response saved the species valuable metabolic energy. In the span of a single afternoon, that specific biological trait became its primary fatal vulnerability. The humans don't come alone. They bring an unseen armada of invasive species with them: rats sprinting across the forest floor, pigs digging up the dirt, and monkeys swinging through the canopy. This chart illustrates the immediate break in the dodo's reproductive cycle. Because they lay their single eggs completely unprotected on the ground, the newly introduced rats have easy access, constantly raiding the nests and suppressing the next generation before it can even hatch. When we add another layer to the data, we see the pigs systematically dismantling the broader food web. They uproot the forest floor, destroying the roots and plants that make up the dodo's primary food source. The dodo is physically incapable of adapting to this chaos. Your large, heavy body isn't built for stealth, and your stubby legs mean you aren't fast enough to outrun a pig or outmaneuver a human. The days of peaceful napping and infinite berries are gone. Your routine is now a desperate game of avoidance, wandering through a shrinking patch of trampled dirt, hoping to find enough scraps to survive another day. While sailors hunted the birds for meat, the true collapse came from the total erasure of the island's resources. The dodos lost their food, their nests, and their safety all at once. Weeks turn into months, and the once bustling island grows eerily silent. The familiar squawks of your neighbors vanish, leaving the forest entirely empty of your kind. You are alone. You wander through what's left of your home, a patchwork of bare branches and uprooted earth, pecking at a few wilted leaves or a half-rotten berry. Standing takes more effort than it should. You find a quiet, shady spot far from the human camps, lower yourself down into the dirt, And, completely exhausted, simply close your eyes as the forest hums faintly around you. There is no dramatic final stand. The species fades out quietly in starving isolation, outliving its ruined paradise by just a few fragile heartbeats. The physical bird vanished, but human obsession with its absence started almost immediately. Once people realized the dodos were entirely gone, they began writing stories and drawing pictures to fill the void. Our collective memory of the bird was built on incomplete, often inaccurate assumptions. Exaggerated woodcuts like this depicted the dodo as comically fat and ruffled, cementing its reputation as a foolish, clumsy creature destined to fail. But modern science tells a different story. Looking closely at the actual skeletal architecture, researchers see a highly specialized animal perfectly tuned to its specific environment. An unfortunate victim of an extreme, rapid ecological shock it had no time to evolve against. The dodo remains our most recognizable example of how human activity can unravel millions of years of specialized evolution in a matter of decades. It serves as a permanent physical reminder of how quickly a stable world can fall apart when its isolation is breached.